So we'll be starting in a seated position. So if you're just coming into the room or joining on to the video, just taking your seat. Allowing the eyes to close. Just tuning into the breath. Feeling the sensations of the breath in the body. Beautiful. So it's noon. We'll begin. Bringing the hands together at heart center. A little rub of the palms. And allowing the palms to come to stillness. Sitting up nice and tall. The thumbs rest at the sternum lifts towards the thumbs. And we begin with the Adi mantra followed by the Mangala Charan mantra. If you're familiar with it, sing along. If you're unfamiliar with it, you can just listen. If you keep coming back, you'll have it in a matter of weeks. Taking a big inhalation all together. And an exhale all the way out. And the inhale tunes us in. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Adkare Name, Jugatkare Name, Satkare Name, Sirin Gurudeve Name. Adkare Name, Jugatkare Name, Satkare Name, Sirin Gurudeve Name. Adkare Name, Jugatkare Name, Satkare Name, Sirin Gurudeve Name. Inhaling, taking that sweet breath into the body, holding the inhalation, setting your intention for the practice, feeling it in the body, knowing why you're here. And an exhale, releasing the intention and the breath out into the room, building the internal and external environment through which we will practice in. Creating harmony and unity and community right from the beginning with our chants. And come lying flat onto our backs as we transition into the warm-up for the Kriya. And as we come onto our backs, we'll curl the knees into the chest. Just give a little squeeze of the knees in with the hands on the shins. And a little rock side to side. Then coming to stillness in the center, interlacing the hands around the right shin. Draw that right knee in, that right foot is flexed. Inhale, that left leg high to the sky, that foot is flexed. And on an exhale, taking that left leg down, reaching through the heel as you bring it hovering about an inch or two off the ground. extending through that left heel. Draw that right knee in a little bit, keeping that dynamic force. And then an inhale, the leg rises on the left side, and an exhale, it falls. In to rise, and X to fall. So you set your pace with this, keeping the leg as straight as you can, continuing to reach through that left heel as you draw the right knee in. So the heel and the knee are moving away from each other the entire time. Beautiful. Nice and steady, just warming up the hip crease, the low abdomen, and the breath for 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, leg high, and an exhale, bring it in. Changing sides, interlacing around the left shin, draw that left knee in, left foot is flexed. Inhale, that right leg high, right foot is flexed. And on an exhale, taking that right leg down towards the floor, hovering about an inch or 2 off the ground. Reach through that right heel, draw the left knee in a little bit closer to the chest. Keep that dynamic force in opposite directions. As you inhale, right leg rises. Exhale, right leg falls. Nice and steady with your breath at your pace. Eyes are closed once you have it, as much as possible through the practice of Kundalini Yoga. The eyes are closed so the gaze is internal. Really working towards allowing the entire practice to be a meditative experience. Even though we're moving and breathing, have the eyes closed so the gaze is internal, paying attention to what's going on inside. Three, 2, and 1. Inhale, that leg high. And on an exhale, bring it in. Hands curl around the shins. Little rock side to side. And bringing that to stillness. Feet come flat to the floor. The palms are going to turn face down. Inhale, we're going to lift the hips slightly. On the exhale, the hands are going to go onto the floor, palms down underneath the butt, and then sit the butt on the tops of the hands. Inhale, drawing those knees in towards the chest. And on an exhalation, the left leg goes long, right knee stays in. And on an inhalation, switching, right leg long, left knee in. So pistoning the legs with the breath. Exhale, left leg long. Inhale, right leg long. So really pay attention to the low back as we do this. We really want the corset of the abdomen working here, so we keep that low back glued to the ground. Part of the reasons we have our hands underneath our butts like this is it gives a little lift to the tailbone, which helps keep that low back safely on the ground. So I want you to pay attention in this posture, because as we move to the next posture, it gets a little bit more difficult to keep that. But that's what we need to keep the low back safe. So we're building the ability of the abdomen to sustain the next posture with this one. Just warming up. Keeping the feet flexed. Heel working away from the knee. See how far you can draw the heel away, and see how far you can draw the knee in as it comes in. Just using your muscles. No hands involved here, no extra assist. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, both legs out, hovering about 6 inches off the ground. Hold. And exhale, let the heels come to the earth. A couple rounds of breath. Breathing here. Allow it to settle a little bit. Feel into the abdomen, feel into your breath. Notice what's changing and what's shifting with the eyes closed. Beautiful. On the next exhalation, curling the knees into the chest. On an inhale, both legs high, the feet stay together. And on an exhale, both legs come down towards the ground, hovering about an inch or two off the ground. Inhale, they rise. Exhale, they fall. So this is where that corset of the abdomen really comes into play, keeping that low back glued to the ground. We're not going to be here for super long. If this is too hard for you to any degree, I want you to bend the knees, and that way you're just lifting half the weight of the legs. Right? That way you can keep the low back safe. If that's still too much, you just don't go as low. You just keep the heels higher, and that it could be with your double leg lifts all the way out, going a little bit lower. Sorry, staying a little bit higher, not going completely down. Or, if you can handle it, all the way down, all the way back up. But stay safe and move at your pace. Just for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, both legs high. And exhale, bend the knees, feet flat to the floor. Inhale, you'll lift the hips slightly, hands peel out, facing up. And as you exhale, allow the legs to land a little bit wider than the mat. And just breathe deeply into the abdomen. Let the breath go wherever it needs to. Just breathe. Just feel the power in the abdomen begin to dissipate around the rest of the body. We built that heat, we built that fire in the belly. And we're going to use it as we go on. Nice, steady in the breath. Beautiful. On the next exhalation, you'll curl the knees into the chest, wrapping the hands around the shins, a little rock side to side. Pausing in center, then a little rock front to back. And we're going to roll right up to a seated posture. And as we come up to our seat, palms face down onto the knees. We'll begin with our Sufi grinds. So inhale as we circle forward, and exhale as we circle back. Eyes closed. As soon as you have it, you pick one direction and you're circling in that direction. Rooting down into Mother Earth. And after we've built the abdomen, you can feel the power in the center of us. And we're dropping that abdominal power, that tapas, that fire. And we're dropping it, rooting it down. And what we're going to get as we root down is an upward rebound effect from the earth. So as we root down, there's an opposite energy rising up through us. It's the support of the magnetic field of the earth itself. These are all very subtle energy shifts. And as you continue to practice over time, they become distinct. They become noticeable. Very much like a feeling or an emotional response that we have inside of us. The practice of Kundalini over time gets us very aware of these subtle energy shifts. Beautiful. Just for 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, upright, full breath in. Pause at the top for a brief moment. And then exhale out of the nose. Let it out, but stay up in your seat, nice and tall. And we'll reverse the circle. Inhale, going forward. Exhale, going back. Still loosening through the low belly and spine here, where the spine connects to the hips and pelvis. A little loosening through the actual ball and socket joint of the hips and pelvis here when you get a nice full circular rotation here. It's just a little opening, the external rotation through the hips that we get. And there's a little engagement of the abdomen as we circle back. There we go. So all this happens automatically, very naturally. No work or effort needs to happen on your part. Just circling and moving with with the breath, feeling the connection to Mother Earth below us, feeling the connection to the breath within us, our support system, the earth and the breath, for 3, 2, and 1. Inhale that upward breath, sitting up nice and tall. Feel it, hold it for a beat, and then exhale, letting it out of the nose and tuning in. Notice the shift, right? Pay attention to the way that we feel internally from the time we began even till now. After this little bit of warm-up, it's already starting to change us. Hands slide down onto the shins. We're going to do spinal flex here. Inhale, the pelvis tilts forward, the heart comes forward. You can use a little help of the hands as you pull the heart through. And on an exhale, the pelvis tilts back. We're going to round back, opening behind the shoulder blades. Inhale and exhale. And we start with a pace here. And we want to be a little bit quick, and the breath wants to be audible, right? It's a catch and throw in the breath. So listen as I go. It's through the nose. It's a sniff in and a little hold, and then a push out and a little hold. Catch and throw. Taking the spine into extension and flexion, and we're isolating the length of the spine from tailbone to collarbone. So keeping the chin slightly tucked in so the chin stays as parallel to the floor as possible, keeping the head nice and stable, keeping that cervical spine straight as can be. There we go. Doesn't need to be a lot of force. Just hear the cues, find out what it could mean in your body, and then settle in. Come out of the gym, come out of any sense of push, and be in the flow of the breath and the movement, like a pendulum swinging in and through you. And then if you're like me at this point, you can't help but to add a little bit of smile to the practice because it just feels good. Ah, beautiful. Allowing the hands to come out onto the knees, keeping the same motion. A little higher in the spine now, the heart moving through a little bit more freely as we can move the thoracic spine a little bit more freely with the hands wider out on the knees. Just for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take that big inhale in, sitting up nice and tall, full breath. And that slow, steady, smooth exhalation out of the nose. Beautiful. At this point, I like to get up on my blanket just to get the hips a little bit higher. If you're perfectly fine on the floor and you're not feeling any strain in the hip flexors, you can just stay straight to the floor. But if you want to come up on a blanket or a block, now's a good time to do so, just to transition to a little bit more comfortable seat. And once you get there, inhale, the hands wide out and up. And on an exhalation, the fingertips coming to the shoulders, landing on the shoulders if they can reach. Thumb behind you, fingers in front. Elbows are as wide as they can be and at shoulder height. Inhale, you're going to twist to the left. Exhale, you're going to twist to the right. That same catch and throw breath. We've taken the spine to extension and flexion. Now we're taking a little twist across the transverse plane. Keeping the elbows at shoulder height really helps to open up under the armpits, the intercostal muscles, just lengthening that fascia, right? All that connective tissue. The breath helps as we move. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, center, full breath, elbows wide, heart high. Draw it in. And exhale. And as you do, the palms landing face down on the knees. Feel, experience, breathe, be breathed. Such a freedom inside of us. Limitless potential. So your hands are on your knees. I want you to slide the hands back ever so slightly so your elbows are now in line with the trunk of your body. Typically, a lot of us, if our hands are on our knees, the elbows are going to be a little bit further. So just pay attention, slide the hands back as much as they need to so the elbows are right beside the trunk. And this is going to help our shoulder alignment for what's coming next. So inhale, the elbows shrug up. The shoulders shrug up towards the ears. On an exhale, they just drop. So inhale, there's a firing of the musculature to lift the shoulders up. And on an exhale, complete release, right? So there's a charge on the inhale and a release on the exhale. On the exhale, everything drops, like the whole body, as if you were dropping a giant weight off of your shoulders. You can just feel it leaving you. Make a sound if you need it. Let it out. Let it out. This Kriya that we're moving into is the Kriya for detoxification, a perfect Kriya for January and a perfect Kriya coming off of our 2020 to detoxify, to release, to let go of all the stuck energy that doesn't serve us, bringing in newness and life. 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, draw those shoulders up towards the ears. Hold, keep the breath held, keep the breath held. And an exhale, slowly drop the shoulders down. Feel the rush and the flush as it flows through you. And be breathed. Transitioning up to standing. So coming up, we're going to land with the feet a little wider than hips width distance apart. Give a little shake out to the hands. A little shake out to the shoulders. A little shake out to the waist. A little shake out to the feet. Woo! Get those feet shaking. And then bring it to stillness. Again, landing with the feet at hips width distance apart or a little bit wider. Inhale, the hands come wide out and up. Fingers interlace. And on an exhale, allowing the hands to come right behind the head like a basket, resting the head back into the hands, elbows wide. This is our inhale position, so big inhale here. And then on an exhalation, coming down into a squat, taking the hips as far to the heels as you can. Inhale, we rise up. Exhale, we come down. Any issues with the hips, any issues with the low back, make it a little bend. Just a little bend in the knees, keeping the elbows as wide as you can as you go. And if you can handle the full squat, coming down. Just bring the hips down as far to the heels as you can. Make it right for your body. Inhale as you rise like a spring coiling inside of you. And when you inhale, that spring launches you back up with the breath. And on an exhale, the hips fall towards the heels and that spring gets ready to shoot you back up. A little bit more. Stay with it. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, big full breath all the way in, elbows wide. And an exhale, hands slowly peel away, palms face forward. Landing by the waist. And breathe. Transitioning right down onto the floor for our Kriya. This is where the Kriya for detoxification begins. So we're going to lie flat on our backs. And as we lie flat on our backs, the palms are going to face down for this one. I find that that's very helpful here. Just keeping the palms face down. Bringing the heels together. And then the toes point straight up. Beautiful. This is going to be our exhale position. Inhale, the feet are going to point out to either side, so the toes are pointing to the right and to the left. The heels stay touching. And on an exhale, they come back up. Keeping the heels touching as best as you can. This is where we begin to start the Kriya. Right? We're getting the Apana Vayu activated. The Apana Vayu is the eliminating, the excreting force in our body. It's a downward, getting rid of, releasing motion. And the legs play a big part in this. The abdomen plays a big part in this. But it's the whole body. These Vayus are winds that flow through us. So energetic rivers or winds that run through us. And they all have different jobs. The Apana Vayu is the one that gets rid of undigested energy in our body. So much of this Kriya for detoxification, is about tapping into this Apana Vayu. So steady as we go here. Keep it going. And if you can, you're going to get a little bit quicker. Keeping the heels together as best you can. Beautiful work. Maybe add a smile to your face. Beautiful. And then for the last 30 seconds, as fast as you can. Moving the legs as fast as you can, as rapidly as you can, keeping yourself safe, so you don't want it to be out of control. You still want it to be controlled motions and breath. So your pace is what you're looking for, not mine, not anybody else's. Three, 2, and 1. Big inhale. And an exhale. And as you do, just release the legs. Feel what you feel. Notice and breathe. There's a flush. There's a release. The legs are active. And through that contraction that we create, once we release that contraction, there's a movement of energy and a new flow. We're looking for that release. And the beautiful thing about Kundalini is we move through these practices, we get these releases, and Kundalini always builds us back up. So it's not just about getting rid of something, but it's about clearing the way for something else to come in. Little pressure into the heels. You're going to lift the hips slightly, palms face down underneath the butt, like we practiced in the warm-up. And then we're going to lift the legs, pointing the toes, and we're about a foot to 2 feet off the ground. Go higher if you have any issues with the low back. And we're just going to start kicking the legs. Long, slow, deep breathing as if you were swimming. The legs are straight as possible. Keeping that low back safe by gluing it to the ground, using the corset of the abdomen. And again, like I said, any issues with the low back, if this is problematic, go a little bit higher. That will help. You can bend the knees and just kick here. Straight legs as best as you can, like a swimmer, kicking, kicking, kicking. If you need to take a break, that is completely acceptable. Allow the heels to come to the earth, take a couple rounds of breath, and let it come through so you can, let it roll through you so you can come back and start again. If you can, kicking as fast as you can, controlled, and long deep breathing. Got just over a minute. And we've got this. Oh, we've got this. You've got me. I've got you. We've got each other. Paying attention to that low back, keeping it glued to the floor. Nice, steady, long, deep breath as best you can. Stay with it. You've got it. You've got it. Got 20 seconds. Get a little quicker in the legs. Use a little bit of momentum and force. Let it go, let it go. Kick it out, kick it out. You got it. You got it. Keep it up, keep it up. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Big inhale, legs straight out, straight out. And exhale, let the heels fall. Whoo, and breathe. Releasing the palms, a round of breath. And before too much time passes, we're rolling straight onto the belly, transitioning into a cobra pose. So the hands landing on either side of the chest, the eyes closed, the chin stays slightly tucked here. We're going to stick our tongue out, and as we exhale, we're going to push up into a cobra as high as we can. So if that's straight arms for you, go straight arms. That's a little too much for my low back, so a little bend in the elbows. Or it can just be a baby cobra coming up slightly. And on the inhalation, the mouth stays open, the tongue stays out. We come back down, and on the exhale, so that's the motion. Eyes closed once you have it. You're steady with your breath at your pace, only coming up as high as you can for what's right in your body. You'll feel some bitterness on the tongue. That's completely natural and normal. Part of that is the excretion that's happening right now. Right? We're getting rid, we're releasing, we're drawing from the pit of the abdomen here as the energy comes up and through us, through the throat chakra, out of our mouth. Right? So just letting go. You can think of this one as letting go of anything that's untrue. Right? So think about that and feel that in you as you release it out with the breath, as the tongue sticks out. Just letting go of untruths. Maybe the untruths you said, maybe the untruths that you believe, maybe the untruths that other people have said that have lodged themselves inside of you. Let them out with the let it out, let it out. Staying nice and steady. Keeping the tops of the feet pushed into the floor. Doesn't need to be super, super active, but that little push into the floor is going to help you with the lift through the heart. Under a minute, you've got this. Keep it steady. 3, 2, and 1. Lower it down on the inhale. Hands come forward, fingertips towards the elbows, and then rest the forehead onto the forearms and just breathe. Taking a moment to pause, letting the breath restabilize, letting the heart slow a little bit. Feel the experience. You may be sweating at this point. The Kriya for detoxification, a rinse, a flush. Goodbye 2020, hello 2021. Get rid of the untruths, get rid of the stuck energy, the undigested stuff inside of us, whether that's food or thoughts or energy blocks. Not taking that stuff with us. Rolling directly over onto your backs for the next posture. And as we transition onto our backs, palms are going to face down. Legs are nice and straight. On the inhale position, the knees come up and the hands come straight up so that they're pointing towards the ceiling. And on an exhale, down. Everything lands back on the floor. Inhale and exhale. We're moving as quick as we can, but as safe as we need to be. So it's slow and controlled and as rapid as we can. Make sense of that. Inhale to exhale. So you're only moving as fast as you can safely. That may be a little bit faster than me, maybe a little bit slower than me. Nice, smooth, controlled movements, and as rapid as we can at the same time. Inhale, knees come up, legs, arms go up. Exhale, return to the earth. You're drawing the knees in as close to the chest as you can. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, landing to the earth. Feel what you feel. And on an exhalation, curling the knees into the chest, little squeeze of the knees in. Little roll back and forth, rolling along the spine. And we're going to roll right up to a seated posture. And as we come up to a seated posture, the hands are going to land palms face down onto the knees. And we're going to do something similar to what we did in the beginning with our Sufi grinds in the warm-up. I want you to picture yourself sitting on a clock. You're on a clock face and 12 o'clock is dead right in front of you. 12 on the clock. So the clock will move clockwise. Think about how the clock would move clockwise. We're going to move counterclockwise. We're going to stay more upright in our spine than with the Sufi grinds. And we're just going to churn, working counterclockwise through the midsection. Just the abdomen working here as best you can, keeping the heart high, spine long, chin stays slightly tucked. Long, slow, deep breathing, counterclockwise motion. A rinsing right through the abdomen. Beautiful. We're not here for long. Just clearing. And we've got one more posture of clearing And then we put it all back together with some Nod yoga, using chant, using sound vibration. Bring everything home, back to neutral, getting rid of what's old, coming to neutral, so what's new can flow in and through us. 3, 2, 1. That big inhale in. And exhale, let it out. We're going to transition. These flow pretty fast right through each posture. So we come straight up. And as we come up, the feet again land hips width distance apart. Not wider this time, but hips width distance apart. Inhale, hands high. And on an exhalation, we're going to go into a full forward fold. Now, if you can, you're going to grab your ankles and stay locked with the hands on the ankles. We're going to be moving from squat to this forward fold. If ankles is not good for you, take a block. That block goes right in front on its highest height. Hands can land on the block. I need this. My hamstrings are too tight. Then on an inhalation, we're going to come down to our squat, and on an exhale, transition to that forward fold. So hands are either on the block or hands are locked onto your ankles as we do this. Inhale, squat. Exhale, fold. Then you work at your pace here. Last clearing and rinsing before we bring it down and put it all back together. You may even find a sense of sacredness in this motion. It's definitely not about squatting at the gym. Move with your breath. Feel the connection. Feel that you're rinsing, right? We prepared the body with everything that we've done for this last rinse. A clearing and a regrounding back into the earth. 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, come high, nice and slow, hands rise. And exhale, hands slowly wide out to the sides, palms face forward. Back to neutral, rinsed, cleared, ready for what's coming. Bringing it down to the earth, building a seat. I really want you to build a seat this time, just to get comfortable. And we're going to move into a chant. So, palms can be face up. You can do thumb and first finger touch, other fingers extend away. You can do palms face down. Whichever you're most comfortable. There's no specification here. You find your comfortable seat. We're going to be working with a chant. The chant is going to be monotone, so it's super, one level across. We're going to be chanting Satnam Waheguru. Satnam, Sat meaning truth, the one true identity, the one existence, the very essence of life itself, the undeniable, unmistakable birth, truth, all things. Sat. Nam meaning identity or name or legacy. So the legacy of truth, Sat Nam. Our existence is that of the Sat Nam, that we are truth. And then Waheguru is like, wow. Like, man, that's awesome. Unbelievable. So it's translated into the truth of this is indescribable bliss. So the truth that our legacy, our existence is that with the essence of essence itself. We are that truth. And that is amazing. So that's what we're saying. It doesn't sound as celebratory as we're saying. It's monotone for a reason. We'll keep repeating this. We'll say Sat Nam 6 times and then Waheguru 1 time. Okay, you can listen a couple times. If you've been coming each week, you already know it, so you can join in right away. But when you're ready, you join in and you begin with me. So finding that upright seat, finding ease in your breath, eyes are closed, and you'll join in with me when you're ready. Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Waheguru. Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Waheguru. Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Waheguru. Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Waheguru. Sat Nam, 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 Waheguru. Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Waheguru. Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Waheguru. Sat Nam, 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 Waheguru. Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Waheguru. So keep your sound, keep your repetition steady in your motion with your voice, steady with your breath. There's a pranayama that happens very naturally as you keep repeating it. It's monotone, it's constant, it's steady. Coming back to neutral. After we've rinsed, we've cleared. Coming back into this truth that we're speaking, that's echoing through us right now. That we are that one true essence. It is what we are in our truth, in our totality. Through and through, every cell is made up of this sat. Fed by the sat, existing in the sat. It is what we are made up of. And this truth, this indescribable bliss that we feel when we step into and acknowledge this truth within us. Stay monotone, but let it be celebratory inside, that you're celebrating the essence of existence itself, in you and through you, as you, who and what you are. You are that Sat. Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Waheguru. Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Waheguru. Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Waheguru. Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Waheguru. Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Waheguru. Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Waheguru. Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Waheguru. Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Waheguru. Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Waheguru. Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Waheguru. Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Waheguru. Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Waheguru. Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Waheguru. Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Sat Nam, Waheguru. Keep going another minute. Stay with it. This is where it starts to really set in. You can feel that sense of clarity and that sense of neutrality embodying itself inside of you with this repetition, with these words, with the settling of the work that we've done physically. There becomes to be a new experience inside, back towards neutral, back towards zero, no polarities or positive or negative, just in the center of our own essence and existence, a great place to be, something that yogis strive to be always. Feel that neutrality, be with the echo of your reverberation. One last chant, one last round. Breath. Soak it in for a minute. Beautiful. Inhale the hands wide, out and up overhead. The palms touch. Hold that breath. Little gentle pressure into the palms. Keep it held. Keep it held. You're staying. A longer breath held here. And an exhale, slowly the hands turn, palms face down, fingertips land on either side of you, just grazing the floor, regrounding into the earth, and a round of breath, inhaling and exhaling, keeping the heart high. Another round. Inhale, the hands come wide, out and up, palms to touch, hold. Stay tall, keep the breath in, let it build, let it roll through you. You're neutral and you're gaining the power of neutrality inside of you, the ability to take and withstand whatever comes your way. And an exhalation, slowly the palms turn, facing down as you exhale. The fingertips ground into the earth. Reset, round of breath, inhaling. And exhaling. Last time, inhale, hands wide, out and up, palms touch. Gentle pressure into the palms, hold the breath. Now as you keep the breath held, soften around the inhalation as if it was still expanding inside of you, softening all the musculature around the lungs, around the face, in the hips. And exhale. Slowly the hands come down to either side, fingertips grounding into the earth. And a round of breath, inhaling smooth and steady. And an exhale. Transitioning directly into your Shavasana. It's a sweet one. It's a sweet one. We've built this. We've done the work. Now we land on our backs, palms face up next to the hips, making any final adjustments you need there. Ease in the breath, ease in the body, ease in the mind, a place of absolute trustful surrender. Resting in the inner sanctuary, the inner dwelling place, the place of the Satnam, echoing throughout you from that neutral seat. The inner sanctuary echoing with the work that you've done, the detoxification, the new clarity, and the sense of peace that you found and created. Rest well. Allow the practice to integrate. thumbs. And touch of the thumb tips to the other fingertips one at a time. A little wiggle of the fingers, wiggle of the toes, and bringing the hands to heart center, giving a rub of the palms. While you're on your backs, you'll bend the knees, lifting the feet off the ground. The soles of the feet come to touch, same way the hands are touching, and a rub of the soles of the feet and a rub of the palms at the same time. And then a big inhale, legs long, hands long overhead, stretch it out. And an exhale over onto your right side to take a round of cleansing breath. And then making your way up to a comfortable seated posture, hands landing at heart center in Anjali Mudra prayer pose as you arrive in your seats. And a big inhale, hands wide out and up, palms touch overhead. I am happy. Exhale, hands landing at the heart. And inhale, hands wide out and up, palms touch. I am healthy. Exhale, hands to the heart. And inhale, hands wide out and up, palms to touch. I am holy. Exhale, hands landing at the heart center. Beautiful. Out loud, repeat after me. I embody grace so fully that all who I meet feel its presence. Hands to the forehead center, closing with one long sat, one short nam. Inhaling. Sat. Nam. Thank you all so much for your devotion and your practice. Hopefully you feel amazing. I know I do. And I'll see you guys next time, if you want, tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. here on OM. And if not, I'll see you next week or somewhere on YouTube or something. Thank you guys so much for a fantastic class. And if you have any questions, I'm always around. I'll come unmute for any questions directly after class. Other than that, write me, get in contact with me via the site, and I'll always be available to you for anything you want to know. Sat Nam.